Welcome to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy, where your team at Destination Weddings Expert talks about all things weddings. Join us as we talk about tips, tricks, and those all too easy pitfalls to avoid when planning your big day. Okay, all right. Welcome back to Destination Wedding Planning Made Easy. You've got the team from Destination Weddings here, Destination Weddings Expert here, and you got actually the full team today. We got Nikki, we got Jody, and we got Prissi. Ladies, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm running out of air already. I haven't even started. So today we have a fun topic. I actually like talking about this topic because it's something that we don't talk about enough, and it's something that we kind of touch on in our consultations, but we don't go into details. And so it's actually a really important part of setting up your room block is which rooms do you want to select when you go into your room block, right? I guess, I think a lot of people think when they get into the room block, they think we're requesting these rooms. These are the rooms that we absolutely have to book, and this is how we move forward. And part of that is true, and part of it's not. I think when we go to set up our room block, what we need to understand when we're doing a room block is that these rooms that we're selecting is an estimation. This is kind of what we think the group is going to book. We do it at a very calculated formula that we have on our end. But in the end, you as the couple know your groups better than we do, right? If you know that, hey, my entire family is budget friendly, they're going to book a whole bunch of the basic rooms, we need to make sure that we have a good amount of those in there. If we know that, hey, my people are turn up party people and they're all taking a family vacation while we're going to be here for the wedding, you may want to get a good number of the VIP level rooms. But let's talk a little bit about how we approach this and what that looks like for our groups, right? So when we start quoting properties, we've identified which properties that we most likely want to move forward with. Now we're getting to the quote level. What we want to do now is take a look at the rooms that they've offered us. When that quote comes over from our tour operator, it's going to have the rooms that are available in inventory right now. Those will be listed out there, right? And it's always going to have single, double, triple, sometimes quad occupancy that's in there. But when you're looking at a list of 12 different rooms, you don't want to take 12 different room categories and put them on your Appy Couple site, put them in your room block, because it's a complete waste. And it's just kind of like a spray and pray approach to to booking your room block, right? So we are going to have a conversation about kind of what that structure could likely look like at some of the different resorts. So Nikki, before we get into some of the properties and kind of breaking down what those properties look like and different ways to do it, Prissi, first, I want to ask you, just percentage wise, as a basic rule of thumb, how do we try and structure our room block contracts?
You definitely take a look at the group. I think we put about 60% in those meat and potato categories. I like to call them meat and potatoes, but those are the ocean views, the pool views, the rooms that have some type of flair. Then you are going to factor in those budget friendly, guests. So we would hold about 15% in that category. And then we'll hold about 25% for our ballers. Those are the preferred categories, the VIP, the butler suites. So that gives us enough inventory to accommodate everyone, but we are also not holding everything. So we have enough for the group, but we don't have everything that the property has in inventory.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's always interesting to hear the clients that want the budget rooms. First of all, you do need to hold a good amount of those in there. There are clients that do want the budget rooms. They just want to be there and they want to celebrate your wedding with you. And they don't care where they stay because they're going to be by the pool and so on. Perfectly fine. You want to make sure you have some of those in your room block. I think the ones that crack me up are the ones that, oh, tropical view, it's going to be this amazing view. It's one thing
No.
you know about your category. Tropical view, it's almost always not facing a desired view. That's
You might be
any and
facing a
everything.
driveway.
A trash can,
Air
like
conditioning unit.
The next
Yes.
building.
never fun. It's never what you think it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that's although we do want to hold some of those basic rooms because people, there are some people that just want to be there with you, which is amazing, and we're so glad they're making the effort to do that. We also want to hold some of those upgrades. So it's when we're in our consult, that's exactly what we go through, Prissi. We go through, okay, some of the basic rooms, the tropical views, maybe even some of the pool views, we want to hold some of those to make sure that we have a good amount of those rooms in there for those that want the budget. but then we want some sort of upgrade, something to give it, just like you said, Prissy, a little flair to the room, right? An ocean view, an ocean front, a swim up. I think,
Mm-hmm.
it's at most properties, those swim up rooms are limited. And
Mm-hmm.
so we want to make sure that we're holding, if we want swim ups, we want to make sure we're holding a good amount of those, because it's once you put them in there, after you get a couple months down the line, you're probably not going to be able to get the swim up room added into the room block. So that's an important one. And then there's the VIP level, which, at different properties, basically every property has some sort of VIP, but it's, depending on where it is, it could mean something different. Nikki, could you talk to us about kind of Dream Secrets, that high inclusive collection, how they structure it? And could you also talk to us about Majestic and how they structured their VIP level?
Absolutely. Dreams and Secrets, those brands, Secrets is the adult only version and Dreams is the family friendly. So what they have is a preferred club. The rooms are typically in better locations, maybe with upgraded toiletries, maybe a little upgraded mini bar, and then you have access to more areas on the property. So you'll have a preferred club lounge. They'll have little bites out all day. You can drive by, pick up a few cookies and a fresh coffee. Love those lounges. It's just
Mhm.
it's the air conditioner there when you need it, and you don't have to go
Yeah.
sit down at a whole restaurant.
Mhm.
You'll have the lounge, you'll have a preferred club pool, at least one. You'll probably have a preferred club beach area that's designated just for that. So these areas on the resort are going to be typically less crowded. Typically, even on Dreams, less children.
Mm-hmm.
Typically away from the kiddie water park.
Mhm.
If you if you like that. So this is this is a definite choice of how much of the resort you're going to get.
Mhm.
Majestic properties. This is where these rooms are very important to choose. These are great resorts. They're great because they're family friendly, but not family focused. They are
Mhm.
adult focused, and 2/3 of the property is going to be adults only. If you are an adult but booked in the family club, you're not getting into those swim up pool bars. You're not getting into their club lounge, which also has the same thing, little bites, fresh drinks, quick glass of wine. You won't. You're going to be on the family side. So, and for those, the rooms, it's typically not much more. If you're not traveling with children, you're going to want to be on the adults only side.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about that. So it's important to pick those rooms.
Absolutely. It's so, Nikki, I think one other thing that I want you to touch on with the rooms is, let's talk about why you hire an expert when you're looking at your room block, right? And specifically, I want to talk about some of these VIP levels, some of the preferred club levels, maybe some of the Majestic properties, even some of the Hard Rock properties that, if you go with the VIP level, you may not be in the section that you're looking at. You want to make sure you select the right room category to be in the section that you want to be in, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Because so there's one resort that we book a lot. It's great for weddings, great for families, Dreams Onyx,
Mm-hmm.
in Punta Cana. They have extensive family section, but there are some certain room categories that are located behind the kids' water park.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and they allow 5 in the room. Great. If you have a family and you got 3 kids, you're coming. Okay, if it's me and my husband, I do not want to be in that room. I will be mad. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say it in the room description. You have to go and read through all of the things to find out where it's notated that it's way back there in that family section with all of the children,
Mm-hmm.
every single child.
Yeah. This is where the kids live.
Yeah, but this is why you trust your advisors. We've been to the properties. I was thinking earlier about Atelier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have upgraded levels and then you got upgraded levels, and there's some
Mm-hmm.
certain rooms. They have a party suite. There's one.
Mm-hmm.
There's one. So if you're holding your rooms and you think, you know what, we might want that one, get it now. You want to get that with your room block. So
Yep.
you have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, one of the other things is, it's, we always talk about our policy, we go so and yes, that puts us on the resorts and you see us sipping cocktails and you see us having a good time. But what we're also doing is touring these resorts. And we're there and we're checking out the different room categories and we're learning about them. And we're seeing, we see firsthand There are some properties out there, yes, it's an ocean view versus an ocean front, and that is a huge difference between the two properties, right? It's some of these, and now one of my favorite resorts, I try not to speak ill of it ever, but I am going to call them out by name here. Unico is it's a phenomenal property. But if you get, the good and bad of Unico is that it's an established property, and established means that there's lots of greenery. And when there's lots of greenery, some of those ocean view rooms
Are green.
are actually just like right over
Yes.
the
I the same thing for Unico, the same thing. But although the rooms without ocean views don't have a bad view, because there is same thing with the Tellier. The non-ocean view rooms are golf course view.
Yeah.
So they're good looking.
They're just such damn good looking properties. It really doesn't matter. But for the ones that, are assistant, I want to be waking up and looking at the ocean. You better be booking that ocean front room.
I think they've kind of specified that now with the Alto ocean views versus the Alcoba ocean views, because it's a higher level.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
higher price.
Higher price. And it's because they can guarantee the views from there, whereas they can't on some of the lower ones.
Right.
And that's perfectly fine. That's if they are delivering on what they say they're delivering on. You're getting, just the horizon of the ocean, and technically it's an ocean view. But if you don't know what you're booking at these properties, and you haven't looked at these rooms and you haven't toured them, you don't necessarily know that the Alto ocean view is the one that you actually want, right? You're booking in Alcoba, and then you're reaching out to us, and you're upset that you have not gotten the view that you thought you paid for.
Fantastic, gorgeous resort though. Like
it is
every day, all day.
I would not only book it for our couples, I would go and stay there myself every day that I can if I would. So I have zero complaints with Unico, but it is one of those things that you just have to know, right? We don't want you getting there and being disappointed with your view. You're paying good money to be there. We want to make sure that you understand what you're booking when you arrive.
And there are some resorts where the ocean view is also partial and obstructed ocean view without disclosing it, like you do on a cruise, saying this has an obstructed view. We know some of them. They will do it to you.
They will.
They will do it to you.
So
let's talk about guest guilt.
FOMO.
FOMO. I think, one of the hardest things for some of our couples to realize is that when you're booking your destination wedding, you're also basically telling your friends and family where they're going to vacation that year, right? Most people out there, they are not travel advisors. They are not, on multiple resorts a year in, multiple destination weddings or destinations a year. Most people are taking one family vacation a year if they're lucky enough to do that, right? And so we have a lot of our couples who feel guilty that they have asked their friends and family to come and stay at these resorts, and so they're making the mistake of overcompensating with those basic rooms and booking that basic room and making sure that that's what they want. And I think the challenge with that comes in is that a lot of people do realize that this is their family vacation for the year, right? Or their vacation as a couple for a year. And when they're doing that, they probably are actually going to want to ball out a little bit and have the good view and get the butler service and have access to the VIP pool and, get access to all the restaurants on property. Because sometimes, that some of those VIP levels only give you access to certain restaurants on property. So listen to your advisor when they're talking about how they think you should break down these room categories. And we speak from it, not from a, hey, we want to get as much money out of this room block as we can. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is tell you, hey, don't book 70% of the basic rooms in your room block, because what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up having to return those to the property, ask for new rooms to come back into the room block, and now they're coming in at a new rate, at whatever the rate is that day, instead of the rate of the day that we secured our room block. If you
Everyone's going to want an ocean view.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want an ocean view. Like, just at minimum, get them an ocean view. They don't want to come all the way from like Detroit to look at a wall.
Yeah. Especially because you're traveling in January, February, right? There's,
Yes,
sometimes if you're traveling in the winter months, we have so many people coming from the Midwest, coming from the Northeast. They don't want to look at the pool. They want to look at the ocean. They want to see that it exists.
They want to hear it. Yes.
They want to hear it. Yeah. So that's, it's selecting the room categories, listening to your advisor, trusting that, the we go so actually serves a purpose, right? We are making sure that we're educating ourselves on these resorts, that we're educating ourselves on the rooms and the room categories, knowing where these rooms are located, knowing the pluses and minuses of each resort, so that we can make sure that we're advising you properly on how to structure your room block.
I think it's also important to note, like when you go back, those categories may not be available. So now you have this huge hole in your heart because you can't get it, you can't offer it. So it's one of those things you need to look at when you're selecting what to hold. Like some of my people will want the better experience.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some properties out there. I'm not going to name this one just because we feel a certain way about it, but there are certain properties out there that has like the unique corner suite, right? There's only a couple of those on property. And so it's when there's only a couple of those on property, snatch those up if you get them in your room block.
Yep.
Someone will book it. And if not, you release it before attrition and there's no penalty to release it back. Right.
And with that one, the unique 1-bedroom is almost as good and half the price. But you want to, if you know people that need a bigger room, they're going to want a bigger room. Some people do not want a small room. They will pay for the bigger room because they want the space. Those resorts don't have a lot of those. And this goes for too, if you have families that need adjoining rooms.
Oh, yes.
Multiple, the hotels do not have a whole lot of those. We need to ask for those from the jump so you can have the rate. If they don't book, we can give it back or trade it for something else. But if they have 65 of this one room category and they have 2 of those, you want to hold it for your group if they're going to need it.
So on that note, Nikki, what do you think some of the best properties are for adjoining rooms?
Oh, so the Dreams, some properties can guarantee it with an additional fee. Some, it's only on request. Hard Rock, it's a room category. It's so you can definitely be sure your guests are going to have that. Some like Casa de Campo, the adjoining rooms, they have only one, and it's triple the cost of any room. You're going to be in 2 rooms. No one takes that one. No one ever takes it because it's just too high.
You're better off booking a villa. That's for
really you are.
Adjoining
you
rooms.
are. I priced it out, and it was like dollars, just a few dollars between a 3-bedroom villa and trying to put that many people into a 2-bedroom suite. So some hotels do better than others, but either way about it, if they have that room category, you want to hold it for your family or for your friends, or get them booked as soon as possible so we can lock it in the best we can.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, this was a quick one. This was an easy one. This is one that's fun to talk about, but it's something that's important to know as you're working to structure your room block is how you want to do that. Yep. What do you got?
Handicap accessible rooms.
This is time.
Not all hotels have them. Some hotels don't have elevators in all buildings. This is stuff we need to know early on because it takes time. And if they have it, and if we can guarantee it, we need to know. And if you have someone very important in your family, if this is your mother, father, grandmother that absolutely must have this might affect your resort choice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important that we know that basically from consult on. We want to know that right away because that will definitely affect which resort that we're going to recommend going forward. You are not in the States booking a destination wedding, right? It's when you're overseas, some of the standards are different. The hotels aren't necessarily as accommodating for our handicap accessible travelers. So we want to make sure that we're going into a resort that will be good for your guests. Even if it does have, handicap accessibility, it may be a gigantic resort that is just a pain to get around, that doesn't accommodate with golf carts or things to get you there, right?
We're gonna rent grandma's scooter then, because
Then we're gonna rent grandma's scooter. Yeah.
well, you are. I'll tell you from who, but
Exactly. It's anything else that we want to kind of touch on, go through as we go through the room categories and structuring your room block?
I always like to come in at the end as the team hype girl. You
Go for
guys, you have to listen to the experts, and these 3 people on the screen with me, they're who you need.
Yep.
So team destination weddings expert.
We brag on it because we know that, you know, we have a lot of experience in the industry.
Right.
We do this day in and day out. Destination weddings, group travel is our business. And so if you're looking at the experts and you're looking at someone who, you know, is speaking not only from knowledge, what their sales people are telling them from the hotels, but also from industry experience, this team is definitely ones that you want to touch base with. So ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. We really appreciate it. I love this topic. I think it's a very important one for our couples to know.
it really is. It really is.
Absolutely. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us. Want to learn more or ready to schedule your complimentary consultation? Follow us on Instagram at Destination Weddings Expert or visit our website at destinationweddingsexpert.com.